Shalom and praise the Lord. I hope this finds you well. Allow me to share something briefly with us. Sometimes when we go through a tough season, when we, pass through tough moments, it could be the loss, lost your job, your property. It could be also you, unfortunately, you're in the season of grief. You've lost a loved one. My heart goes to you this season, and I send my prayers for you this season. And that is why I'm coming to you today, because sometimes we need to have these conversations, how to carry what cannot be fixed. You could be at a place where you don't know what to make of what has happened. There is a gap, there is a space that nothing else can come and fill it. Today I just want us to have a conversation, but not just a conversation, but also to extend compassion to you through this season of grief, this season of loss. And also I would want to challenge the societal expectation, that comes and tells people you have to move on, carry your pieces and move on. What if where you are, you can't really pick the pieces? What if where you are, you can't really, move on? And so this is for you, to help you carry what you cannot fix, and to help us carry what can. I have 3 objectives, and my first objective is just to share tools that I hope and pray that you'll find helpful, to navigate the emotional roller coaster of grief and loss. Number 2 is to help us find meaning in loss, find meaning in that which we have. And number 3 is to help us hold on to love while carrying the weight of absence or loss. To hold on to love while carrying the weight of absence or loss. And allow me to just share with you some few points that I find helpful for us to be able to carry, to help us to carry what cannot be fixed. And I came across an article, a book done by Megan Devine, on how to carry what cannot be fixed. And I will share some few insights, 10 or so nuggets that will help us even as we walk this journey together. Number 1 is to understand that grief is a journey, not a destination. Grief isn't a linear process with a clear finish line. It is a personal journey. So nobody needs to harass you. Nobody needs to push you. Nobody needs to tell you, how to navigate that journey. They can walk with you, but they cannot dictate the kind of steps that perhaps you can take. A journey with its own twists and turns. And we can have suffered the same thing, but there is one thing that I always tell people: pain cannot be shared. How I feel may be different from how another person feels towards the same situation or predicament. But also you need to understand that there is no set timeline for healing. There is no set timeline for healing. You might experience waves of sadness, anger, guilt, or even joy. All of these emotions are valid, and there will be ups and downs, and this is what we are calling, the journey. Today you may be feeling this way, and tomorrow a certain way, and all these emotions are valid. Do not allow anyone to tell you that, you don't have to feel this way. How you feel is valid. What you're feeling is valid. And so my prayer is that in this journey, God will hold you. Number 2 is that you don't have to move on to heal. This is very important. I know most of the times when people come to encourage a person, they tell you, you'll have to move on at some point. No, you don't have to move on to heal. Society will often push you or push the idea of moving on from loss. But you see, if we are talking about healing, sometimes we just have to carry with us what we can't fix, and I challenge this notion. You don't have to move on for you to heal. Grief is a lifelong process. Carrying the memory of your loved one doesn't mean you are stuck. There are people, I remember some years back I lost a loved one. I still carry them with me everywhere I go. Their memories, I cherish who they were in my life, and I carry the memory with me everywhere I go. Now it's over 20 years down the line, and I still carry them. So grief is a lifelong process. Do I miss them? Yes, I do. Do I wish they were around? Yes, I do. So I carry their memory with me everywhere I go. And that does not mean I'm stuck. I'm not stuck. 20 years have passed. I've grown. I've done things even in their absence, but I still remember them. So you can learn to integrate the loss into your life while still honoring the bond you shared. You can learn to integrate the loss into your life while still honoring the bond. Number 3 is that the importance of honoring your pain. The importance of honoring your pain. Trying to suppress your emotions or pretend you are okay only hinders healing. You don't need to pretend. You don't need to act like you are healed. If you're feeling pain, it's important that you honor that pain. Find courage for you to be able to acknowledge and express your pain in healthy ways. What you need to do is that you need to express pain. You need to express that pain, but also in ways that are healthy. Sometimes because people don't get to understand us or to understand the pain you're going through, you may end up coming up with ways that are unhealthy. We call them coping mechanisms. Sometimes when you don't want people to invade your space because of the pain you're feeling, you may act in a certain way, and you need to express that pain in healthy ways. And this might involve journaling. You need to write down when you feel you're not okay. You might need to express it maybe on paper. Just take a pen, journal it down. Also, maybe you may consider therapy. You may consider also creative outlets, like art, music. I don't know what you like, but you can consider creative outlets, dancing, singing, all these things will be helpful. Number 4 is that there is no shoes in grief. There are no shoes that you should do this in a certain way. This is how this should be done. This is how this should be handled. There is no right or wrong way to grieve. There is no right or wrong way to grieve. Your way is the right way. How, if you feel like crying and you are crying, cry, sob. If nobody understands why you are crying all day, it is okay. There is no right or wrong way to grieve. Also, you need to understand that everyone experiences loss differently. So we could be siblings, we've lost a parent, but that does not mean that on the same level, we are on the same level of pain. We are feeling the same thing. No, everyone experiences loss differently. Comparing your journey to others only creates unnecessary pressure. So there is no need for you to compare your journey to another. Also focus on what feels right for you. At this particular season of your life, just focus on what feels right for you. I will quote this saying that says, there is no one size fits all approach to processing grief. There is no one size fits all approach to processing grief. So we can't come up with a manual and say, you move from this step to this step, you move from this phase to this phase. Sometimes it just doesn't work. And that's why I say there are no shoes. Number 5 is that setting boundaries is okay. Grief can be emotionally exhausting. It is important to set boundaries with well-meaning friends or family who might offer unsolicited advice or minimize your pain. It is okay for you to set boundaries. Even when you know they mean well, it does not mean that you are not appreciating what they are trying to do, but it is okay to set boundaries. It is okay to say, right now I don't feel like talking. Right now I feel I want to be alone. It is okay for you to feel that way. You have the right to protect your emotional space, to take care of yourself. You have that right. Number 6 is that you need to consider, and you need also to understand the power of self-care. Grief can take a toll on your physical and mental health. And sometimes we just have to remind ourselves we have to carry what we cannot fix. Develop a self-care, or develop what I call self-care practices during this difficult time. It may include, getting enough sleep, eating nutritious meals, exercising regularly, engaging in activities you find relaxing and enjoyable, prioritizing your well-being allows you to cope with the emotional challenges of grief and loss. You need to prioritize your well-being. You need to prioritize your health. You need to prioritize your how you're taking in things, the food you're eating. Maybe you need to go out, watch a movie. Maybe you just need to hang out. Maybe you just need to come up with a schedule of the things that you can do that can add into your well-being, and that will be important. Maybe it's just to take a walk. Maybe it's to do shopping. Maybe, I don't know what works for you, but maybe it's just getting enough sleep, even if you will need to take some sleeping aids for you to be able to get enough sleep. Maybe it's just to make sure that you have the right company around you. Maybe it's to travel. Whatever works for you, it is important that you prioritize your well-being. Number 7 is that finding meaning and purpose in loss. Finding meaning and purpose in loss. This is powerful, because while loss is devastating, it can also be a catalyst for personal growth. While loss is devastating, it can also be a catalyst for personal growth. Find meaning and purpose in the midst of grief. You can find meaning and purpose in the midst of grief. This might involve honoring your loved one's memory, through acts of service, carrying on their legacy, or pursuing creative endeavors inspired by them. I've seen people starting foundations, sometimes just to honor, and to carry on the legacy of their loved ones. It is important, because there are things which you will carry on for a lifetime. There are people, no matter how tragic the moment was, how devastating the season is, you will have to carry them on with you. It's a lifelong process. And so find meaning and purpose even in their loss, or in the loss of whatever you have lost. It could be a property. You can just see how you can navigate around that and find meaning. Number 8 is the importance of connection. The importance of connection. Grief can feel isolating, but human connection is crucial for emotional healing. Most of the times when we are going through hard times, hard seasons, navigating grief, when we are grieving, when we have experienced loss, sometimes we want to be alone. We don't want to have a conversation around what has happened. But sometimes human connection is crucial for emotional healing. I encourage you to reach out to supportive friends, family members. You can reach out, to grief support groups. Maybe someone who you watched online, they gave their story, and you're going through what they went through, and maybe they have shared their story. You can reach out to them. You will be amazed, you'll be surprised how people are willing to help. Don't consider yourself a stranger. there are enough tools, enough systems that you can find to connect to people. Could be a group, family members, friends who can walk with. Number 9 is that grief can change you. It's important you understand that grief can change you. When you have gone through something, you are not the same person. And sometimes people will find you a bit different, a bit odd. You're not the same person they interacted with. And most of the times people don't get to understand this, that your loss has changed you. There is a part of you that has gone. There is a part of you that has broken off. There is a space in you that was not there. And sometimes losing someone you love can be a transformative experience, but you need to carry, what can't be fixed. Titles change. One who had parents, now becomes an orphan. One who had a husband now becomes a widow. Titles change. One who had a wife becomes a widower. One, I don't want to mention, but it becomes a whole different ball game now. And for you to come into terms with that, you need to acknowledge that indeed grief can change you. And that transformative experience is what we need to see how we can navigate through and even grow and even enter that new space gracefully by the help of God. We need to acknowledge that because of what we've gone through, we might emerge from grief or loss a changed person. You might emerge a changed person. Your ideology, your perception, your priorities, all these, you need to acknowledge. And sometimes the people around you may not be aware of this, but you need to acknowledge that. You might develop a deeper appreciation for life, greater empathy for others, a new perspective on what truly matters. Can be a positive part of the healing journey. These changes, while often unexpected, can be a positive part of the healing journey. And lastly, holding on to love while carrying the loss. Holding on to love while carrying the loss. Ultimately, how to carry what cannot be fixed. This is a message of hope to you, for your loved ones, for your friends. This is a message of hope that while the pain of loss is real, so is the love you shared. You can learn to carry both, the pain and the love. It is painful because you cherished it. It is painful because you cherished him or her. And so we can learn to carry both. You can live a full and meaningful life while still cherishing their memory and keeping their love alive in your heart. You can live a full and meaningful life while still cherishing their memory and keeping their love alive in your heart. My prayer for you, my prayer for each and everyone that is going through hard times, you lost a loved one, you lost something. My prayer for you is that God will hold you through and God will give you grace to carry that which is, to carry that which cannot be fixed. May God bless you. I declare the peace of God. I declare the shalom of God. May God bless you. Amen.